Chill. Yeah. M16.
This is unbelievable.
Brr. Weazel. You don't really wanna miss Weazel news. We keep the city on they P's and they Q's, cause they know we pull up with them cameras and shoot. We tell the truth so you don't get confused. You don't really wanna miss Weazel news. We keep the city on they P's and Q's, cause they know we pull up with them cameras and shoot. We tell the truth so you don't get confused. Hey. Shout out to my boss, Baron. You know that man make it happen. He got a foot up in the damn door, and now the whole team taking action. We got pictures on whether you can chat with Cheddar. Hit me for your music needs, who gon' do it better? And you can catch Travis on the Rash Report, or catch me going live with the facts from the source. Ari is a newswoman, plus you with the force. Man, the whole Weazel staff, we on top, check the score. Editors, producers, all going hard. Don't make us pull up with them cameras in your front yard. Weazel.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Weazel News. We are your hosts, Sky Davis, Tiffany Tulips, and joining us out from a scene in Polino, Dick Dastardly. How are we doing this evening, guys?
We doing good out here in Polino. How are y'all doing back here in office?
Can't complain down here.
We are doing quite well. As we said, Dick is out in Polino. We had quite the scene last night. A lot of action, a lot of things going on throughout the week. And we look forward to sharing it with everybody. But let's see, I know we're all doing well. Tiffany, would you like to take us away a little bit tonight?
Well, I know Saturday, like you said, was quite a busy night from what I saw. We had a lot of different calls that were in, and I remember there being even like a helicopter that went down. I think it was involving one of the police officers, if I'm correct.
Yes, it was, and Dick Dastardly's out there covering that now. Dick, how's the cleanup going?
That's right, Tiffany and Sky. Yes, I'm out here on location, and seems to be the cleanup is going pretty well. There was a small fire that occurred after the helicopter crashed down out here. It was a small fire that wound up getting ignited later on when they was trying to pick the helicopter up the crane to put it on a flatbed. But they was able to call out the fire department, put the fire out fairly quickly. And then they got a good old helicopter up here on the flatbed. They got our aviation services out here checking on everything. I believe they're gonna have the local police departments that was responsible for the helicopter. They're gonna be checking all their maintenance records and everything to see potentially what could have caused this helicopter to go down while it was on its assignment to locate the missing potential mentally defective gentleman that was threatening to jump off the tunnel overpass at the time.
Yes, indeed. And I know it was involving an officer, and I know that officer was transported for a broken leg. We do hope that he's doing all right, Sergeant Hernandez.
That's right, Scott. I believe we actually had two officers injured in relation to the call. I believe Mr. Sergeant Craig Carlson also was injured out there. I believe he may have had some sort of fall while looking for the attempted jumper. Do y'all have any more information on Mr. Sergeant Carlson?
I do know that he was treated on scene for a possible concussion. When I did try and interview him at the hospital, he was very much out of it. But overall he was doing better, still conscious, breathing, which we love to see. But he was being treated for possible rib fractures and a concussion, so he might be out for a bit. But we do hope he has a speedy recovery. And as always, the great work done by Ocean Medical is appreciated.
Man, I just don't know about old Carlson now. He seems to be the one that gets caught up in the most. I'm not trying to say anything wrong, but it seems
Yep.
like he's all the time getting injured. He's always in the middle of shootouts. It
Yeah.
seems to be. Thankfully, he has his vest on 99% of the time. But he
Yeah.
always seems to wind up in the worst possible situations at the worst possible times.
I will agree with you there. Carlson and Sharp both have quite a bad juju going on. Bad luck, bad juju. But
That's right.
Carl's
Speaking of Sharp, I heard she may have gotten into an accident her own self last night.
she
That's what I heard
did.
as well.
Yeah, I heard she was trying to make a turn to make a traffic stop, and somebody avoided her lights and ran right into her. Which that's the second 1050 that she's been in like a month. So I mean, maybe she needs to go back to EVOC training. I don't know.
Well, I was talking about, I heard she got her cruiser lost up there in the mountains too at the same time. Got a high center of gravity or something there and got stuck and had to get
Yeah.
a recovered cruiser again.
Yeah, yep. The commissioner, I believe, had to go take her back to her cruiser, but I think she heard that Carlson was down, so was trying to get to him, and then I don't know, got away from her car in the process. But Sharp, she's always, she's always all over the place.
That's right. That's understandable. I can
Yeah.
understand her trying to get to Carlson quicker.
Yep, but hey, at least she didn't, nobody got shot last night. I'm kind of glad that Carlson fell down a hill instead of getting shot, because he has more lead in him than a pencil at this point, I think.
That's true. That's true. Oh my goodness, that's true.
Right. Him and we used to have another officer, by the name of Lopez. Both of them, I think, and they're both on the sheriff's department. So I'm quite wondering what. And of course, Dank is still out. We are wishing him a well recovery. I heard that he should be able to move home soon. And maybe that's one step closer to coming back. Do not know. But the sheriff's department, like they gotta watch out. They've got. I'm curious on their teachings out there at the sheriff's department. They're either getting hit by bullets, by cars, by
Walls.
air, by air falling down a hill. I mean, yeah, it's the sheriff's department. You gotta watch out for them.
That's right, ladies. That's right.
But let's see. Let's talk a little bit more about this week. I know we had more events than people falling.
Well, I actually did hear about a falling. I think it was on Tuesday. There was a accidental, or to say a gentleman who accidentally fell off a bridge when fire department and LEO were trying to get to him. I think that was at Postal 62, I believe.
Yes,
Sounds
that
right.
was.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dick.
Yeah, that's right. I was just going to elaborate a little bit. Yeah, I do remember hearing about that over at Scanner. Unfortunately, I was on the other side of town. I couldn't get to it. I heard a little bit about it. Allegedly, I think they said he was just trying to sightsee, possibly, and maybe he slipped. I don't have all the details on it. Maybe one of you two ladies have all the details.
I know it was a name of a Billy Wong, who unfortunately did not make it from his fall. It was quite a big fall, if you can imagine how big that fall was from the top of the bridge. Because unfortunately he did not fall into the water. I won't go too much into detail about that, as we can all picture our own selves. But he unfortunately, the SAFD and the LEO on scene did the best they could do, but he was. I don't know if they ever got a reason of why he was up there. I know the LEO on scene were trying to make conversation with him through speakerphones, and the medic was also on the bridge. God bless Robert Clark for going up on that bridge, because I don't know if I would not have the
Intestinal, testicular fortitude. There we go.
Yeah, I would not have that courage to go up there. But I don't know if they ever actually got a reason. They were trying to lure him down though, and unfortunately he did slip on the bridge. Of course, it's metal and it was steep, and he slipped and he did fall to his death, unfortunately.
Such a shame to hear. He was such a young person, is what I heard.
Yeah.
Very young, and sad for the medics and the LEO who tried to revive him as well. I know they were quite upset by the loss as well.
Absolutely. I know involving also, not that we want to go off of death, but speaking of that, that we did have a person I don't know if they were, I didn't get the whole call, but they were either taken into custody or found on a scene or an accident, and they were using a fake ID, and the ID of the person that they were using came back to someone who had passed 6 or 7 months ago. So I believe that that's an ongoing investigation now with the Sheriff's Department and the state troopers of trying to figure out how that person got that ID and what the story is behind it.
That's going to be very interesting to watch as this one unfolds there, Sky and Tiffany.
Yes, and of course, like we said earlier in the broadcast, we are speaking with Dick, who's out in Polito, capturing the recovery of that helicopter that was down in Polito. So he is telephoning in with us and happy he could join us. But I know we had a lot. Yeah, we had a lot going on that evening, so I couldn't get the entire all the information available, but hopefully we'll get some more information here to come.
That's right. Tiffany, did you hear about the high-speed chase that was there in Polito? It started down near the tunnel, and then they got up towards the is Beaker's garage, I think, right there, and something about they had to use their tasers to subdue the subject.
I did hear about that, Dick. That is correct. They did actually have to use a taser to bring this gentleman down, and I remember seeing that the fire department showed up just to give this gentleman a exam of sorts, just to make sure he was okay before they took him into custody. And I did hear that he was perfectly fine. They just removed the prongs from his body of the taser, and he was perfectly able to be transported. So at least there were no major injuries in that chase.
I do believe they said they clocked him at like well over 100 miles an hour in the vehicle he was driving.
I can believe that from what I heard. Yeah, it was a very fast chase.
I feel like they had a lot of fast chases last night. There wasn't a slow speed 1080 anywhere to be found. It was all fast.
Well, Mr. Herbert, was back on his medication at one time, so that maybe why we've not had any slow speed chases lately.
Oh boy, you are right. You are right, sir. You are indeed right. Yeah, I do believe at the last court date, Herbert was revoked of his license for a 90-day term. So it might be a little bit before we see him out on the open road again.
That's right. Sidewalks were safe now.
Absolutely. Speaking of 1080s, we had another 1080 with a stolen, actually I believe it was 2. So it came in as 2 stolen vehicles, but I believe it was only 1 stolen vehicle. And we just had they had a description for one, and then another car being stolen, but I believe it ended up being the same car. And there were 2 occupants in it, and one actually tried to get out of the vehicle when the vehicle tried to come to a halt, and he fell out of the vehicle before it made a complete stop. he was treated for injuries on scene, and the drivers were taken into custody for grand theft auto. They stole a vehicle from Beaker's garage, from what I heard.
Was it? I heard it was one of those high-end sports cars from Beaker's Garage, like maybe a Ferrari or a
Yeah,
McLaren or something along those lines.
yeah, maybe, or a Terrasimo, maybe. That's, I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Maybe so.
Yeah,
We're not very good with all these French names.
Right, but one of the high end ones. I mean, of course, we've had a lot of good cars out and about lately, especially with the SAS car 1000 that happened earlier this evening at the Maze Bank Arena, and luckily we had it was a good clean race, lots of wrecks, of course, but well job done by all. Well job done. That's a new sentence, guys.
I like that one, Sky.
Job well done. But yeah, lots of good things happening within the city. And then we also had another, I guess, I don't know if you want to call it a vehicle incident. The sheriff, the acting sheriff Slicksack, and the state troopers were out, and they had I believe the acting sheriff saw a truck, or maybe they just kind of went by, and a male had actually fallen out of his truck and gotten run over by his own truck. With another driver in it, and he was treated for facial fractures and body contusions. I believe that the FD and LEO did have to administer CPR, which was successful, so good job to all involved on that. But I believe it was, it was accidental, but, I mean, getting run over by your own vehicle, I can't even imagine. I mean, let alone being run over by any vehicle, but my own vehicle, that's something else.
It takes a special criminal to do that.
I do think so, and I'm not sure that he was, trying to be, I don't believe any charges were placed on that scene. I do believe it was labeled as an accident, but check your doors, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure those doors are shut. Make sure you are buckled with all hands and arms inside the vehicle until your ride is over. Because, I mean,
Definitely.
you never know. I mean, you never know when your door can pop open, you can fall out.
Yeah, we did have an officer not long ago that used his ejection seat mode in that new Ford of his.
He did. I was Hernandez. Wasn't that Hernandez again?
That was Hernandez again. He has an issue with ejection seats. Either they work too good or they don't work at all.
Right.
There's no in between.
Right, which he did get lucky this past, as we said, with being able to eject out of the aircraft before it completely burst into flames. Luckily, he just got a broken leg, but, I mean, man.
Ejectocito in full effecto.
Yep.
exactly there, Tiffany.
Many effectos. Let's see. Have we listened to any good music lately, guys?
I'm just listening to the cranes out here moan and groan, lifting up this here good old helicopter or what's left of it and all the pieces. These construction workers, crane operators, they got all kinds of music they got going and blaring out here. Everything from a little bit of rap to some country to some rock and roll. That's a little bit of all of it.
Very nice. I didn't know that you enjoyed the sound of moaning cranes.
Well, I'm not saying I'm enjoying it, but it's everywhere. You ladies come out here and take my position. I'll come back to the studio any day there, y'all.
All right, sounds good there. What about you, Tiffany?
I've been listening to a lot of pop music lately, especially Lady, I think it's called Lady Gaga, I think is how she pronounces her name these days.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been listening to her a lot, so definitely enjoying that pop music.
That is awesome, and I know we also got a nice show out at, again, Maze Bank Arena has had quite the action-packed weeks. We had the Super Bowl out at the Maze Bank Arena, which was a lot of fun, seeing all the teams play. And we also had Ramen Noodles perform the halftime show. She was great as always. I mean, it was definitely an interesting show, but hey,
Wait,
I mean...
rewind. Ramen noodles was in the city?
Yeah, Ramen Noodles! And
No one told me.
It was a high-flying performance, too. There were noodles everywhere.
Wow, no one told me about this. You know what? I just don't know. Tell you what, you just stay in the studio. I'll stay out here on scene from now on. No,
All
no
right.
one passes the information to me anymore.
I mean, you could. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's not my fault if you don't
hey,
check the group messages, though.
Right, and if I remember correctly, I did offer you season tickets this year, but you said you had some thing to go to and you were hanging out with your special someone, which, I mean, yeah, I get it, but we did have Valentine's Day, so I get it. But
Yeah, that's
but
true.
hey.
That's true.
Yep. But yeah, no, great performance for Ramen Noodles. We had Lady Baga, a few years back, so maybe we'll see who else we get. As we know, it did move to Ice Fruit Music instead of being sponsored by E-Cola. Now it's or by Mr. Dr. Pep. I believe Dr. Pep was the original. But who knows? Maybe we'll get T Swizzles, maybe, since she couldn't do it because she was signed under E-Cola instead of Mr. Pip. She was a sponsor, so she wasn't able to do it. But who knows? Maybe she'll be one of the future performers now that it's being run by iFruit Music. Never know.
Tell you what, Dick, the next time we have one of those events, we'll let you cover it so we can make up for you not being able to see her.
All right, that's a bet. We'll see what happens.
Awesome. But let's see what else, guys. Do we have anyone that we'd like to highlight this week for People of the Week? I know we had quite a few new members come in as always. We've had Rufus, we've had a few other players come in, and we welcome them all to the server and having a great time with us. But is there anyone specifically we'd like to recognize here?
I have two I want to recognize specifically from this past Tuesday night. We was very short staffed that night. I want to specifically recognize Ember Rose and Rye Wilson for running like chickens with their heads cut off as the only Leo we had on the server during that night. They was all over the map, hunting down calls, dispatching calls, all at the same time. They was doing what they could, when they could, where they could to help out fire, and even the bootleg news crew that was hanging out chasing the fire crew around.
Wow. Yeah, it's always nice when everybody can pitch in and help out. Thank you there. And how about you, Tiffany? Anybody you'd like to recognize specifically, or just in general?
Just in general, I would say just all the law enforcement and the emergency responders out there. We had quite a busy week, these past couple of nights, and they've been working real hard to keep the city, peaceful and help anyone that needs it. And I know they were kind of running around themselves, so
Yeah.
Kudos to everyone involved in that as well.
Absolutely. And I'd also like to give a shout out to, I know, Stacy has been training in dispatch. A few other people will be training in a few categories here as some LEO interviews go into play, and things like that. So I wish everybody luck who's being involved in on that. We've had some new tow drivers get hired. I wish them luck in that. So overall, the community coming together to make great events, great RP happen, and it wouldn't happen without everybody involved in the RP.
Absolutely.
Most definitely.
Getting all our terms out there, I love it. Let's see.
Wintoes.
I love that we've had all these all these little hidden gems that the inside viewers know about. That's awesome to see. Let's see. Have we? Let's see the weather.
Weather, yeah. Can't forget the weather.
Weather.
It's breezy out here on me up here in Toledo. How's it down there for y'all in the city?
It is breezy up there for you. We've had a little bit of rain moving in. Luckily, it hasn't been too windy. I do hear that we might have some possible sun moving in later in the week. So hopefully that brings less wind up there in Toledo. I know the Sandy has been getting some sandstorms, believe it or not. Sandy Shore's getting sandstorms. Oh my gosh.
We got sandwiches.
Now you don't want to get sand in your sandwich there, Dick.
But that's how it makes a true sandwich. You have a sandy sandwich and sandy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you go to the little cafe that's in between the 24/7, I think that they still have sandy sandwiches, right?
Yes. I'm pretty sure Bob's restaurant also has it too. Pops, no longer Bob's, it's Pops now. Pops has those sandy sandwiches.
Yeah, Bob retired.
Yeah, Bob retired. He's Pops,
I think the only sand he probably sees is on the golf course.
Probably. That's where I'd be if I mean, I don't know. I'm not really a golfer though. I'd probably hit say 4 and then hit it backwards, but
Or smack someone else in the face. That's what I'd probably do by accident.
Right. Or we can be like Ben Smokin out there in the Vinewood area. I think he doesn't have a club, so he just throws the ball with his hand. But the last time he did that, he hit Granny Swag in the face. So I don't know how good of an idea that is.
Well, sometimes it happens.
It does. But hey, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time the Granny Swag got hit with something in the face, but yeah, we're gonna not.
It's not gonna be the last.
Yeah, she's got zucchinis, and I heard that the last thing she tried, you know what she tried? A plantain.
Oh no.
That's what I had heard myself.
Yeah, I heard poor Destiny Parker got put on that one. Poor Destiny. I mean, she's only been in the in the service for a few months, and she's already seen so much.
I remember hearing that night too that she forgot to include her stretcher in her ambulance too, so she had to return back to the fire station, get her stretcher, and then go to help Miss Granny Swag.
Oh boy, we've got some interesting characters within our thing.
Sometimes it happens.
It happens, exactly.
Yep. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I go out to start my car without my keys, and then I get there and I'm like, where are my keys? And they're still inside. Yeah. Oh boy. But yeah. Let's see. Do we have anything else that we'd like to cover tonight, ladies and gentlemen?
I think it's all on my end. We're almost wrapped up out here on the highway with this helicopter. They should have it fully open here within the next 12 hours once they get done with the investigation. So pretty soon, Route 13, Route 1, Great Ocean Highway, whatever we call it out this way, should be open to all southbound traffic.
Awesome. That is
excellent.
Good to hear. Yeah, I know they had that plane started leaking some oil, and that was quite the spill to clean up. But we're glad that is all being taken care of and absorbed and all of that.
Absolutely.
Most definitely. But I believe that is going to do it for us this evening on this episode, this broadcast of Weazel News. My name is Sky Davis. Next to me is Tiffany Tulips, and all the way down there in Polito is Dick Dashamley. Thank you, Dick, so much for joining us from on the road there. We do appreciate it.
Thank you, ma'am. I hope y'all have a safe night there in the city, and I guess I'll miss a pitch of 10 out here and watch the cleanup.
Yeah. Don't forget the station does provide you with some the hotel at the Polito Lodge, so can always go there when you wrap up tomorrow.
Wait a minute.
But,
Tell me that. Sitting out here with a tent and a canopy.
Oh,
Damn
really?
SOBs. We're going to have a discussion when I get back to the studio there,
Oh
Sky.
boy. Oh boy. All right. We'll be ready for that discussion. We'll be
Yes,
ready.
we will.
But like we said, that'll be it for us tonight. If you are wanting to join us on one of the scenes that or on the fun that we have talked about tonight, and scenes just like events coming up within the server, go to kuffsgaming.com, join our Discord, discord.me/kuffs, and check out the streamer rotation, ! Rotation. Hopefully it works in the chat. Next time we go live, or the official live stream will be on Tuesday, and it will be Jamie H and Ace 2K7. Pardon me. But check them both out, and we appreciate you all joining us, and we will see everybody on the next edition of Weazel News. Good night, everybody.
Good
Night, everyone.
Chill. Yeah. M16.
This is unbelievable.
Brr. Weazel. You don't really wanna miss Weazel News. We keep the city on their P's and their Q's, cause they know we pull up with them cameras and shoot. We tell the truth so you don't get confused. You don't really wanna miss Weazel News. We keep the city on their P's and Q's, cause they know we pull up with them cameras and shoot. We tell the truth so you don't get confused. Hey. Shout out to my boss, Baron. You know that man make it happen. He got our foot up in the damn door, and now the whole team taking action. We got pictures on whether you can chat with Cheddar. Hit me for your music needs, who gon' do it better? And you can catch Travis on a rash report, or catch me going live with the facts from the source. Ari is a newswoman, plus you with the force. Man, the whole Weazel staff, we on top, check the score. Editors, producers all going hard. Don't make us pull up with them cameras in your front yard. Weazel.